Jeho Park stood in the center of the massive chamber and tried not to show his anger. All around him, hundreds of alien creatures sat in their elevated seats, looking down at him like he was some kind of insect. The Galactic Council Assembly was the most important place in the known universe, or at least that was what everyone said. Right now, it just felt like a room full of bullies. He had been coming here for 5 years. Before him, other human ambassadors had made the same journey for 25 years before that. 30 years of asking, pleading, and trying to prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. 30 years of being told no, Ambassador Park. The voice boomed from above. It belonged to Overlord Thrain, a creature that looked like a massive lizard wearing expensive robes. He was the leader of the Velcrin Empire, one of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. We have reviewed your petition for full council membership. Again, Jeho kept his face neutral. He knew what was coming. He had known before he even walked into this chamber today. The message from Earth Command had been clear. This was the last time humanity would ask. The Council finds that humanity still lacks the necessary qualifications, Thrain continued. His voice carried amusement, like he was telling a joke that only he understood. Your species is too young, too emotional, and frankly too primitive to sit among the elder races. Perhaps in another century or two, we can revisit this matter. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Not from everyone, but from enough of them. Jeho recognized the representatives from the Velcrin Empire, the Taloran Union, and half a dozen other powerful species. They had been blocking humanity's membership since the beginning. From the observation deck high above, Ankim watched the scene with cold eyes. She was not a diplomat. She was a soldier, a military liaison sent by Earth Defense Command to observe and report. While Jeho dealt with words and politics, Hyun dealt with facts and strategies, and the facts were damning. Over the past 3 years, Hyun had been quietly collecting data. Human trade ships were being forced into unprofitable routes. Human merchants paid higher tariffs than any other species. Applications for colony worlds that humanity had discovered were mysteriously delayed or lost, only for those same worlds to be granted to elder species months later. It was systematic, deliberate, and completely unfair. Hyun tapped her datapad, sending an encrypted message back to Earth. The evidence was overwhelming. The Galactic Council was not a partnership of equals. It was a protection racket run by old species who wanted to keep new ones down. Down in the chamber, Jeho was speaking again. With respect to Overlord Thrain, humanity has contributed significantly to galactic trade and security. We have shared our medical research, our agricultural techniques, and our mathematical innovations. We have defended Council shipping lanes from pirates. We have offered friendship to every species we have met. And we are grateful for your service, Thrain replied, his tone suggesting he was anything but grateful. But service is not the same as equality. Some species are meant to lead. Others are meant to follow. This is the natural order of things. More laughter. Jeho felt something twist in his chest. It was not fear. It was not even anger anymore. It was clarity. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small data crystal. It contained humanity's formal petition, thousands of pages of documentation, testimonials from allied species, and economic projections. He had spent months preparing it. He looked at it for a moment, then placed it on the speaking platform in front of him. I withdraw humanity's petition, Jeho said quietly. The laughter stopped. The entire chamber went silent. Thrain leaned forward in his seat. What did you say? I withdraw our petition for council membership, Jeho repeated, louder this time. Humanity no longer seeks a seat on this council. Confusion rippled through the assembly. This had never happened before. Species begged for council membership. They did not walk away from it. You cannot be serious, Thrain said. Without council membership, humanity will have no protection, no guaranteed trade rights, no voice in galactic affairs. You will be at the mercy of any species strong enough to take what they want from you. Jeho smiled. It was not a happy smile. We have been at your mercy for 30 years, Overlord. It has not worked out well for us. Humanity will find its own path forward, turned and walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent chamber. Behind him, he could hear Thrain sputtering, could hear other council members calling out questions and demands. He ignored them all. Hyun met him at the observation deck exit. "That went well," she said dryly. "Better than expected," Jiho replied. "They are so arrogant they cannot even imagine we might be a threat." "Are we?" Hyan asked. "A threat?" Jiho thought about the classified briefings he had received before coming here. He thought about the projects happening in secret facilities across human space. The technologies being developed far from alien eyes, the fleets being built in hidden shipyards. He thought about 30 years of being underestimated, 30 years of learning everything the galaxy had to teach, 30 years of preparation. "Yes," he said simply, "we are." They walked through the corridors of the council station toward their ship. Other species moved out of their way, staring at them with confusion and curiosity. Word was already spreading. The humans had walked away. On their ship, Jiho sent the coded message he had been authorized to transmit. 3 words that would change everything. Protocol Sigma. Confirmed. Across human space, from Earth to the furthest colonies, military commanders and government leaders received the message. The time for asking permission was over. The time for diplomacy had ended. Humanity would no longer beg for scraps from the table of elder species. As their ship jumped too faster than light speed, leaving the council station behind, Jiho looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Galactic Council was probably laughing at humanity's foolishness. They thought humans were giving up, running away with their tails between their legs. They had no idea what was coming. Hyun sat down next to him. "Do you think they will try to punish us for this?" "Probably," Jiho said. "The Velkrin, especially." "Thrain does not like being embarrassed," Goodhand said coldly. "Let them try. Let them send their fleets and their threats. Let them learn what happens when you push humans too far." Jiho did not reply. He just watched the stars blur past as they traveled home. Home to Earth, where humanity was waiting, ready, and no longer willing to play by rules designed to keep them weak. The Galactic Council had rejected humanity for the last time. Now humanity would show them what a mistake that was. 6 months had passed since Ambassador Jiho Park walked out of the council chambers, and Director Minho Choi was starting to worry. Not about humanity, but about what their silence meant. Minho ran the Galactic Trade Commission's monitoring division, tracking the movement of goods and ships across council space. For 30 years, human vessels had been predictable. They filed their flight plans, paid their tariffs, and followed every rule the council imposed on them. They complained sometimes, but they always complied. Not anymore. Minho stared at his screens, watching another human cargo ship ignore a Velkrin checkpoint entirely. The ship just flew past like the checkpoint was not even there, jumped to FTL and vanished. The Velkrin patrol vessel tried to follow but could not keep up. "That was the 3rd time this week. They're not even responding to hails," his assistant reported. "The human ships just go silent when we contact them." "What about their embassy?" Minho asked. "Closed. The building is empty. They left a message saying all future communications should be directed to individual human worlds, not through council channels." Minho rubbed his eyes. This was bad. When species stopped talking, they usually started shooting. But the humans were not shooting anyone. They were just ignoring the council entirely, like it did not exist. On the Velkrin homeworld, Overlord Thrain was having a similar problem. His advisors stood before him, bringing news he did not want to hear. "They are expanding," General Cross reported. 7 new human colonies have appeared in the past 4 months, all in systems that were awaiting council approval. Approval they never received, Thrain said angrily. "Those systems are not theirs to colonize. Send inspection teams immediately." Tried. Cross said carefully. The inspection teams found fully operational settlements with hundreds of thousands of humans. Complete infrastructure, defensive systems, everything. It is like these colonies have been there for years, not months. How is that possible? Cross had no answer. Thrain slammed his fist on the table. "They are making us look like fools. First they walk away from the council. Now they ignore our authority completely. Send a message to these illegal colonies. Tell them to evacuate immediately or face consequences." The message was sent. The humans did not respond. Across human space, things were changing rapidly. Dr. Suji Kong worked in a laboratory deep beneath Earth's surface, surrounded by alien technology that humanity had acquired through trade over 3 decades. Except she was not using it anymore. She was taking it apart. "This is incredible," she said to her team. "Look at this power converter. The Talorans sold us this design 10 years ago, remember? They told us it was top of the line." Her assistant nodded. "It powers most of our orbital stations." "It is garbage," Suji said bluntly. "Look at the efficiency ratings. 20% energy loss in conversion. I pulled apart a Talaran military ship's converter last week. Their military version has less than 5% loss. They have been selling us inferior technology for decades. Can we improve it?" Suji smiled. "Already done. Our new converters are down to 3% loss. We took their bad design, figured out why it was bad, and made something better." This was happening in laboratories across Earth in every human colony. Alien technology was being reverse-engineered, improved, and integrated into new human designs. The species that had refused humanity a seat at their table had unknowingly given humanity all the knowledge needed to surpass them. Admiral Deho's Song stood on the bridge of his ship. Reading his orders from Earth's command for the 3rd time, the message was simple and direct. No more asking permission. No more justifying our existence. We move forward on our terms. Deho had been in the military for 35 years. He remembered when humanity first met alien species, remembered the hope that had filled everyone. Finally, humanity was not alone in the universe. Finally, they could join a community of civilized worlds. That hope had died slowly over the years. It's killed by contempt and exploitation. Now, it was being replaced by something harder, something colder: determination. Admiral, his communications officer, called out, "We are receiving a priority message from the colony at New Jeju. They report a Velcrin fleet approaching their system."
"How many ships?"
50 capital ships, sir. "And they are broadcasting a message demanding the colony surrender and evacuate." Smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "Send them a response. Tell them New Jeju declines. And inform Fleet Command. It is time." In the council chambers, an emergency session had been called. Species from across the galaxy argued about what to do with the human problem. "They are violating every treaty, every agreement," a Talaran representative shouted. "We cannot allow this to continue. What do you suggest?" Asked Chancellor Vex, one of the few council members who seemed genuinely concerned rather than just angry. "Military action? If necessary," the Talaran replied. "These humans need to be reminded of their place." Their place. A small voice spoke up. It belonged to Representative Kira of the Kirith, a junior species that had been trying to gain colony rights for years. "The same place you have kept my people in for decades. The same place you keep all of us who are not old enough or strong enough to challenge you?" "That is different," Thrain said dismissively. "How?" Kira demanded. "The humans asked for membership. You denied them. They asked for fair trade. You exploited them. They asked for colony rights. You delayed them. Now they have stopped asking, and you are angry because they are doing what you should have let them do years ago." "This is not about fairness," Thrain said coldly. "This is about order. If we let the humans defy us, others will follow. The entire council system will collapse." "Maybe it should," Kira said quietly, but loud enough for others to hear. The chamber erupted in arguments. Chancellor Vex tried to restore order but failed. The council was fracturing, and everyone could feel it. Meanwhile, at New Jeju Colony, Captain Unishin received her orders. She commanded the UHSF Defiant, a warship that had been built in secret over the past 5 years. It was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Around her, 19 other ships of similar design powered up their systems. "The Valkyran fleet will be here in 2 hours, her tactical officer reported. "Good," Eunice said calmly. "Let them come. It is time to show the galaxy what humanity has been building while they laughed at us." In his office on Earth, Jiho Park watched the news feeds coming from the council. They were panicking now, trying to figure out what humanity would do next. Some were calling for sanctions. Others wanted military action. A few, like Chancellor Vex, were suggesting negotiation. Hyun Kim entered his office. The Velkrin are going to attack New Jeju. No, Jiho said. Are our people ready? More than ready. They are eager. Jiho nodded slowly. For 30 years, humanity had swallowed insults and accepted mistreatment. They had been patient, had tried to work within the system. They had failed not because they were weak, but because the system was designed to keep them weak. Now the system was about to learn. What happened when you pushed humans too far? Not with anger or revenge, but with the cold calculation of a species that had spent 3 decades preparing for this exact moment. The silence was about to end. And when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. Overlord Thrain stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Dominator, and felt satisfied. Around him floated 49 other Velkrin warships, the largest battle fleet assembled in recent memory. They had just entered the new Jeju system, and soon these upstart humans would learn their lesson. Extend the demand again, Thrain ordered. Tell them they have 1 hour to evacuate the colony, or we will remove them by force. His communications officer worked the controls, then froze. Sir, we are receiving a response from the colony. No, sir. From that, the officer pointed at the main display. Thrain looked and felt his blood run cold. A ship had just appeared on their sensors. No, not a ship. A monster. It was easily 3 times the size of his flagship, with a hull design he had never seen before. As he watched, 20 more ships just like it materialized around the first. Where did they come from? Thrain demanded. Unknown, sir. They just appeared. No FTL signatures, no warning. Captain Unishin sat in the command chair of the UHSF Defiant and allowed herself a small smile. The look on the Velkrin commander's face must be priceless right about now. Their sensors had finally caught up with reality. Human ships had been waiting here, cloaked, for the past 12 hours. Open a channel, Una ordered. All frequencies. I want everyone in the galaxy to hear this. The channel opened. Una spoke clearly and calmly. Velkrin Fleet, this is Captain Una Shin of the United Human Space Force. You have entered human territory without permission. You have threatened a human colony. You have 1 chance to leave peacefully. Turn your fleet around now, on the Dominator. Thrain laughed. Human territory? You have no claim to this system. The Council has not approved any human colonies here. And you dare threaten us? We are the Velkrin Empire. We have ruled these stars for 10,000 years. You are children playing with toys you do not understand. We understand perfectly, Una replied. We understand that you have spent 30 years treating us like servants. We understand that you have stolen from us, lied to us, and blocked us at every turn. We understand that you think we are weak. Allow us to correct that misunderstanding. You have 60 seconds to withdraw. Thrain's face twisted with rage. You insolent creatures. You think a few stolen ship designs frighten me? Attack formation. Show these humans what real power looks like. The Velkrin fleet surged forward, weapons charging. Energy beams and missiles filled the space between the fleets. It was an impressive display of military might, enough firepower to destroy a small moon, except nothing was happening. The human ships just sat there as the barrage slammed into them. And then the impossible occurred. The weapons simply disappeared, absorbed by shimmering barriers that flickered into visibility and then faded again. Shields holding at 98%, Una's tactical officer reported. Negligible damage. Turn fire, Una ordered. Disable only. I want survivors to tell this story. The human ships opened fire. Their weapons were different. Beams of concentrated energy that cut through Velkrin shields like they were not even there. The Dominator took 3 hits in rapid succession. Power flickered across the massive ship. Oh, shields down. Someone shouted on the Velkrin bridge. Hull breach on decks 7 through 12. We have lost main power. Around them, the rest of the Velkrin fleet was suffering the same fate. Ships went dark one after another, their systems overloaded or destroyed. Some tried to flee, jumping to FTL in a panic. They were allowed to go. The humans were making a point, not committing genocide. 17 minutes after the battle began, it was over. 32 Velcrin ships floated dead in space, their crews alive but helpless. 18 had escaped. The human fleet had not received a single serious hit. Yuna opened the channel again. "Overlord Thrain, your flagship is disabled but intact. Your crew is alive. You will drift here until you are rescued, and you will have plenty of time to think about what happened. When you return to the Council, tell them this. Humanity is not asking for permission anymore. We will expand where we choose. We will defend what is ours. And anyone who attacks us will face the same fate you did. Are we clear?" Thrain said nothing. He could not. His hands shook as he looked at the human ships, impossibly powerful, impossibly advanced. How had they done this? The human fleet simply vanished, cloaking systems engaging. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. The Velcrin survivors were left floating in the dark, waiting for rescue that would take days to arrive. On Earth, in a military facility known simply as Skunk Works, engineer Dong-Yoon Lee watched the battle footage with his team. They had spent 5 years building these ships in secret, using human ingenuity to improve on every piece of alien technology they could get their hands on. Did you see their faces? One engineer laughed. They could not believe what they were seeing. Dong-Yu nodded but did not smile. This was the easy part. Now comes the hard part. The Council will not accept this quietly. They will come back with more ships, more weapons. We need to stay ahead of them, can we? We have been for years, Dong-Yun said. They sold us their technology thinking we were too primitive to understand it. They were wrong. We understood it, improved it, and built something new. While they sat in their council chambers congratulating themselves on being advanced, we were actually working to become advanced. They had a head start of thousands of years. We are catching up in decades. Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread like wildfire. The footage had been broadcast on all frequencies, just as Yuna had intended. Every species in council space saw what happened. They saw the mighty Velcrin fleet destroyed in minutes by human ships. They saw technology that should not exist. In the council chambers, chaos reigned. Representatives shouted over each other, demanding explanations, calling for action, expressing fear and anger in equal measure. Chancellor Vex finally managed to restore some order. Where did they get that technology? Our intelligence said the humans were decades behind us militarily. They were Admiral Woojin Beek of the Terra-Born Defense Forces said quietly. 6 months ago, they were. But we were not looking at what they were doing in secret. Every piece of technology we sold them, every trade agreement we made, they were learning from it. We thought we were keeping them dependent on us. Instead, we were giving them everything they needed to surpass us. That is impossible, someone protested. They are too young, too inexperienced. Is it? Woojin asked. Or is it possible that age does not equal wisdom? That experience can also mean complacency. The humans have been working with fresh eyes. No assumptions, no traditions holding them back. They took our technology and asked, how can we make this better? We took our technology and asked, how have we always done this? So what do? Vex asked. Before anyone could answer, a new message appeared on all council communication channels. It was from President Somin Yang of Earth. Her face appeared on every screen, calm and determined. People of the galaxy, she began. For 30 years, humanity has sought peaceful cooperation with the Galactic Council. We have been rejected, exploited, and dismissed. Today, the Velcrin Empire sent a fleet to attack one of our colonies. They have learned the cost of that mistake. We are broadcasting this message to make our position clear. Humanity does not recognize council authority over our affairs any longer. We will expand, trade, and live as we see fit. We offer friendship to any species who wants it on terms of mutual respect and equality. But we will not be dictated to, and we will not be attacked without consequence. The choice is yours. The message ended. The council chamber was silent. Somewhere in that silence, the old order began to crack. Chancellor Vex of the Taloran Union was old enough to remember when the council actually worked. That was before it became a tool for elder species to maintain their power, before corruption and arrogance replaced wisdom. Now, watching the chaos in the council chamber, he wondered if the whole system had been dying for centuries and the humans had just delivered the final blow. "We must negotiate," Vex said loudly, trying to be heard over the shouting. "The humans have clearly been preparing for this moment. Military action is no longer viable." "You saw what I saw?" Overlord Thrain snarled. He had been rescued from his disabled flagship and brought back to the council, humiliated but no less arrogant. "They destroyed my fleet in minutes." "We cannot negotiate from a position of weakness. We cannot negotiate from a position of strength either," Admiral Wujin pointed out coldly. "Because we do not have that position. Our best military technology is apparently obsolete compared to what the humans have developed." "Then we offer them what they wanted before," Vex said. "Full council membership, voting rights, equal trade status. We admit our mistakes and bring them back into the fold." Thrain spat. "I will not bow to these primitives." "Then you will lose," Vex said simply, "and you will drag the rest of us down with you." On Earth, President Soman Yang was having a much calmer meeting. Around her table sat humanity's top military commanders, scientists, and diplomats. Jiho Park was there, as was Hyun Kim, Admiral Daeho Song, and a dozen others. "The council will try to save face," Jiho predicted. "They will offer us membership now, try to act like this was always the plan." "Do we accept?" Admiral Daeho asked. Soman shook her head. "No. We did not fight free of one cage just to walk back into it. The council system is broken. It exists to maintain the power of old species and keep new ones down. Even if they gave us everything we asked for, the system itself is wrong. Then what do we offer instead?" Dr. Suji Kong asked. Salman smiled. "Something better. Something fair. We show the galaxy there is another way." While Earth's leaders planned their next move, something interesting was happening across the galaxy. The Kareth, that small species whose representative had spoken up in the council, had just established 3 new colonies and systems they had been denied permission to settle for decades. When council inspectors arrived, the Kareth simply refused them entry. By whose authority? The inspector had demanded. "By our own," the Kareth governor replied. "The humans have shown us we do not need permission from those who would never grant it. We are free people, and we will act like it." The Navari did the same, then the Prith, then a dozen other junior species. All across council space, the species that had been held down were suddenly standing up. The human example was spreading like fire through dry grass. Ambassador Giwan Nam was young for her position. Only 32 years old. She had trained her whole life for diplomacy, learning alien languages and customs, hoping to serve humanity in the stars. Then humanity had left the council, and she thought her career was over. Instead, she found herself busier than ever. Her office was flooded with requests from species wanting to meet with human representatives. Not through council channels, but directly. They wanted trade agreements, mutual defense pacts, technology exchanges. 17 species in 1 week, Jihan reported to Jiho. All junior members of the council. All looking for alternatives to the current system. "What are they offering?" Jiho asked. "Everything. Access to their worlds, their resources, their knowledge. They see us as liberators, Jiho. They think we can protect them from the elder species." Jiho frowned. "We are not looking to build an empire of our own, I know. But we could build something. A real alliance based on equality. These species are desperate for what we can offer them. Not protection in exchange for servitude, but genuine partnership." Jiho thought about that. It was tempting. It was also dangerous. Building a rival power block would force the council into a corner. And cornered animals were unpredictable. On the Velcrin homeworld, Thrain was making his own plans. He had been humiliated, his fleet destroyed, his pride shattered. The council was useless, paralyzed by debate and fear. If they would not act, he would. He sent messages to 6 other elder species. all of whom had as much to lose as the Velkrin if the current order collapsed. The Drachner, the Sentinel Collective, the Korth Unity, and others. Old species with old power who remembered when their word was law, and junior species knew their place. The council has grown weak, Thrain told them in a secret meeting. They talk of negotiation and compromise, but we know the truth. If we let the humans get away with this, if we let them inspire rebellion among the lesser species, everything we have built will crumble. We must act decisively. What do you propose? The Drachner representative asked. A coalition fleet. 300 ships. We strike at the heart of humanity. We destroy Earth itself. Make an example so terrifying that no one will dare challenge us again. That is genocide, someone protested. That is survival, Thrain corrected. The humans started this when they rejected the natural order. We will finish it, the species agreed. They would gather their fleets in secret and launch a coordinated attack. The council would not know until it was done. By then, humanity would be broken and order would be restored. Except someone did know. Admiral Wujin Beek had his own intelligence network, and he was not blind to Thrain's scheming. He sent a coded message to his human counterparts, warning them of what was coming. On Earth, Fleet Admiral Tajan Ro received the warning and smiled grimly. They want to play this game? Fine. But they are not going to like how it ends. He activated emergency protocols across all of human space. Fleets that had been in reserve powered up. Ships that had been hidden in distant systems jumped to strategic positions. Defense platforms came online around every human world. Humanity had been preparing for war since the day Jiho walked out of the council chambers. Now that war was coming, and they were ready, but Tajan had no intention of just defending. He studied the star charts, looking at Velkrin space, identifying military installations, supply depots, communication hubs. If the Velkrin wanted to bring total war to humanity's doorstep, humanity would bring it to theirs first. Dr. Minseo Park worked frantically in her laboratory, compiling decades of evidence. Every corrupt trade deal, every manipulated market, every secret agreement between elder species to suppress junior ones. It was all documented, stamped, authenticated. When this war was over, one way or another, the galaxy needed to see the truth. Back in the council chambers, Chancellor Vex tried one last time to reach out to humanity. His message was simple and direct. President Yang, I speak to you not as a council representative, but as someone who believes the current system is flawed. We can change it. We can reform from within. Please, do not let this escalate into total war. Too many innocents will die. Soman Yang received the message and considered it carefully. Vex seemed genuine. But even if he was, even if some council members wanted real change, the system they built would not allow it. The Velkrin and species like them would never surrender their power willingly. Chancellor Vex Soman replied, I believe you mean well. But the council has had 30 years to change, to reform, to become what it claims to be. Instead, it has become more corrupt, more oppressive. The humans are done waiting for those in power to decide to share it. We will forge our own path, and we welcome any who wish to join us as equals. But we will not submit to a system built on exploitation, no matter how many pretty words dress it up. Vex received the reply and felt sadness wash over him. He had known it would come to this. The humans were right, but being right would not save them from the storm that was coming. Across the galaxy, pieces moved into position. Fleets gathered in secret. Weapons charged. Alliances formed and reformed. The Kareth, the Navari, and 40 other species quietly signed defensive pacts with humanity, pledging to stand together against council aggression. The old order was dying, but it would not go quietly. And in the darkness between stars, fleets prepared to collide in a battle that would decide the future of the galaxy. The largest military fleet ever assembled in Galactic. History emerged from FTL space at the edge of the Sol system. 312 warships from 6 different elder species, all converging on one target, Earth, on the bridge of the Coalition flagship. Overlord Thrain felt vindication course through him. The humans had embarrassed him, destroyed his fleet, made him look weak. Now he would return that humiliation 1,000-fold. Earth would burn. The human colonies would be scattered, and the natural order would be restored. "All ships report ready," his tactical officer announced. "We have weapon lock on multiple targets." "Broadcast our demands," Thrain ordered. "Total surrender. Dismantling of all military forces. Reparations for damages, and the leaders of Earth to stand trial for crimes against the Council." The message was sent. Thrain waited for the terrified response, for the begging, for the desperate pleas for mercy. Instead, silence answered him. Then something appeared on his sensors that made his blood run cold. Human ships were emerging all around his fleet. Not in front of them, defending Earth. Behind them, surrounding them, cutting off their escape. And they were not just appearing near Earth. According to reports flooding in, human fleets had simultaneously appeared at military installations across Velkran space, Draknar territory, and the systems of every species in his coalition. "How?" Thrain whispered. "How are they everywhere at once?" Fleet Admiral Tajanro sat calmly in his command chair aboard the UHSF Resolute. Watching the coalition fleet realized they had walked into a trap. Humanity had spent years developing their cloaking technology, their FTL systems, their intelligence networks. They knew this attack was coming. They knew exactly when and where to strike. "Open a channel," Tajon ordered. "All frequencies." The channel opened. Tajon spoke with the calm authority of someone holding all the advantages. "Coalition fleet. This is Fleet Admiral Tajon Rowe of the United Human Space Force. You came here to destroy our home. You will fail. Your military installations in 16 systems are currently under attack. Your communication networks have been disrupted. Your supply lines have been cut. You have one chance to surrender peacefully. Power down your weapons, shut down your shields, and prepare to be escorted out of human space. If you fire a single shot, we will consider it an act of war and respond accordingly." "You are bluffing," Thrain said, but his voice shook. "You cannot attack that many targets simultaneously. Want to bet your fleet on that?" Tajon asked. "Because we already are. Check your command networks." "Oh wait, you cannot. We shut them down 3 minutes ago." On every coalition ship, communications officers were reporting the same thing. Their secured command frequencies were jammed. Direct links to their home systems were severed. They were blind, isolated, and surrounded. Thrain looked at the human fleet around him. 50 ships, each one as powerful as the Defiant that had destroyed his previous fleet. Behind him, Earth hung in space, defended by hundreds more. He had brought overwhelming force to crush a single world. Instead, he had delivered his fleet into the hands of an enemy that had been 3 steps ahead the entire time. "Stand down," Thrain said quietly. "All ships power down weapons." The coalition fleet went dark. Human ships moved in, boarding teams securing each vessel, ensuring compliance. Not a single shot had been fired. The largest military fleet in galactic history had surrendered without firing a weapon. But while the coalition fleet surrendered in soul, the real message was being delivered elsewhere. At Velkran military stations, Draknar shipyards, and Korth defense platforms, human ships demonstrated their power. They did not destroy. They disabled. They did not kill. They captured. It was a surgical strike designed to prove a single point. Humanity could reach anyone. Anywhere, anytime they chose. Within 6 hours, it was over. The coalition had been defeated without a true battle. Their military infrastructure was crippled. Their fleets were captured or scattered. And perhaps most importantly, their reputation for invincibility was shattered forever in the council chambers. The remaining representatives watched in stunned silence as Dr. Minseo Park broadcast her evidence to every corner of galactic civilization. 30 years of corruption laid bare for all to see. Trade manipulations, political suppression, secret agreements to keep junior species weak. Every dirty secret the council had tried to hide was now public knowledge. For centuries, Minseo said, her voice carrying to billions of beings across hundreds of worlds. The Galactic Council has claimed to represent unity, progress, and civilization. This evidence shows the truth. The Council is a tool of oppression, designed to maintain the power of old species at the expense of everyone else. It does not deserve to exist. It does not deserve anyone's loyalty, and it certainly does not deserve to govern the galaxy. The reaction was immediate and explosive. On junior species homeworlds, protests erupted. Governments that had quietly accepted Council authority began openly defying it. Trade agreements were torn up. Representatives were recalled. The carefully constructed system of control was collapsing in real time. Chancellor Vex watched it all and felt something he had not felt in decades. Hope the old system was dying. Yes, but maybe something better could take its place. He sent a message to President So-Min Yang. You have one? The council is finished. What comes next? So-Min Yang stood before representatives from 73 different species in a hall built specifically for this moment. Not on Earth, not on any homeworld. On a neutral station constructed by multiple species working together as equals. The Galactic Council failed because it was built on the wrong foundation, So-Min said. Power. Privilege. The idea that some species are naturally superior to others. We propose something different. The Coalition of Free Worlds. Every member species gets one vote, regardless of age, size, or military strength. Decisions are made by majority consensus. Trade is regulated fairly by elected representatives. Disputes are settled by neutral arbiters. No one species can dominate. No one can be exploited. True equality. And what of military power? Someone asked. The humans have proven yourselves far more advanced than any of us. What stops you from becoming the new council? The new oppressors. You do, Hyan Kim answered. She stood beside So-Min, representing Earth's military. We propose complete technological transparency. Every advancement humanity makes will be shared freely with coalition members. We will teach you how to build what we build, how to defend yourselves. We do not want an empire. We want partners. Strong partners who can stand beside us, not servants who kneel before us. Why should we trust you? A Drachner representative asked bitterly. Because we are offering you what we wanted for ourselves, Jiho Park said. He had come out of retirement for this moment. Respect. Equality. A real voice. We could have used our military advantage to conquer you. We did not. We could have demanded tribute or submission. We did not. We are offering you the same choice we made. Stand together as equals, or fall separately under the tyranny of those who claim superiority. The debate went on for hours. Some species were suspicious. Others were enthusiastic. But slowly, steadily, consensus built. The old species that had dominated the council found themselves outvoted, outmaneuvered, and obsolete. They could join the new coalition on equal terms or isolate themselves in their arrogance. Most chose to join. Even Overlord Thrain, stripped of his military power and facing criminal charges from his own people, acknowledged that the old order was dead. The Velkrin Empire petitioned for coalition membership. After a long debate, they were accepted, but not as rulers. As equals,